All right, good morning. Time for our flow class today. Let's start today in child's pose. So come to hands and knees, big toes together. You're trying to find some comfort in child's pose. So if you need to keep the hips up to keep the knees happy, do that. If the knees are okay with the hips going all the way back, you can do that. Forehead down on the mat. And elbows can be where you want them. So especially to start, you can either have the arms out in front of you with the elbows resting on the mat if you want them bent, hands stacked, wherever it feels like it's a nice, comfortable place to start. Something soft. We're not going for a deep opening here. Take a deeper breath in through the nose, back out through the nose. Inhale in through the nose, back out through the nose. Deep breath in. As long as you can, back out. Keep going in and out through the nose, up and down the back of the throat. If you're starting to feel a little bit more comfortable in your child's pose, maybe you crawl the hands out a little bit more. Elbows might lift away from the mat, but they don't have to if it feels like it's too much. And lift the head, look forward at the hands, thread the right arm through underneath you, coming down onto the side of the head, just starting to open up the shoulders in a different way. Lower half of the body still in the same shape with child's pose. And lift the head, right arm comes forward, switch sides, left arm threads through underneath you, set the side of the head down onto the mat. Left arm comes forward. Come back to child's pose. See if you feel a difference in the upper body, pulling the shoulders back toward the hips. Arms are firm, pressing down into the whole hand. So, index finger, thumb side of the hand. Sometimes that area gets a little light. Then shift forward to tabletop, come to all fours. So you can separate the feet hip width distance apart, stack the shoulders over the wrist. On the inhale, reach the heart forward, lift the tail. On the exhale, round the spine, chin in toward the chest. Keep going at your own pace. You don't have to stay with me. Follow your own breath. You can also add movement, take away movement. Let's do one more cycle, forward and back. Come back to tabletop, neutral spine. Step the left toes back behind you. Lift the left heel up to hip height. Reach the right arm forward. So, like you're going to shake someone's hand with that right hand. Take an inhale, get a little longer. On the exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, extend. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, extend. Exhale, elbow to knee. This time, inhale, extend. Set the right hand down. Set the left toes down to the mat. Bring that left heel down to the mat. So you're spinning it in, turning the toes out. You can kick the right foot off of the mat. That gives you a little bit more space and freedom to play with your balance. Right hand goes out to the right. Left arm reaches up to the sky. So modify Vashisthasana. Keep that left leg down for now. Use it to fire up the right side of the body, lifting away from that right hand, reaching up with the left arm. And then if you feel good here, you could lift the left leg up just to hip height, toes point straight forward. So don't let those left toes go up toward the sky. Keep them pointing straight forward. If you want to, you could reach that left arm back behind you toward that left foot. You could bend the left leg, point the toes, see if the foot and the hand connect. It might be too soon. If that's the case, just keep the left leg extended. If you have the left foot, reach the heart forward, lengthen the left quad. Good work. Gently extend that left leg, reach the left arm up. Bring the left foot down to the mat, left hand down to the mat. Find your way back to tabletop, all fours. This time we step the right toes back behind us. Reach the right leg up just to hip height. Left arm reaches forward. Take an inhale, lengthen. On the exhale, curl, elbow to knee. Inhale, extend. Exhale, curl. Inhale, extend. Exhale, curl. This time, inhale, extend. Left hand comes down to the mat. Right toes come down to the mat. Spin that right heel down flat, turning the toes out. Walk the foot back until the left toes point to the arch of the right foot. Then you can kick the left foot off to the side. Reach the right arm up to the sky. Drive down through that right leg like you're trying to make a hole in the earth. Reach up with the right arm. Fire up the left side of the body. If you're feeling good here, keep that energy in the right leg. Maybe you lift the right leg up. Toes point straight forward, core hugging in. Still pushing something away from you with that right leg so it's strong. Stay here, or you could play a little bit more with your balance. Reach back like you're reaching for the foot, point the toes, bend that right leg, see if the foot and the hand connect. Heart reaches forward, lengthen the right quad. Getting more of a shoulder opening, quad opening. If you have the foot, gently release. Right arm goes up, extend the right leg, set the right foot back down to the mat with control. Right hand comes back down to the mat, find your way back into tabletop. Then once you get here, bring the elbows down to the mat, step the feet back behind you, find a forearm plank. So squeezing the legs together, reaching the heart forward, trying to keep the hips in line with the body. You're pressing down into the forearms and the hands, and the inner thighs are working. Outer hips are hugging into the midline. And you're shrugging the quads up toward the hips. See if you can stay with your Ujjayi breath. Set the hips down onto the mat, find Sphinx pose. Tops of the feet come down, push the chest forward, tail points back toward the heels, look down the bridge of the nose. Starting to feel the back open, still staying in the upper body here too. So you're broadening across the collarbones, making more space in the shoulders. And as you look down toward the mat, tuck the toes underneath you, fire up the legs, outer hips, core, lift the hips back up to plank pose, one hand at a time, plank pose, and lift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. First down dog, so feel free to add some movement or widen the stance of the feet. Just make sure your feet are at least hip width distance apart. Generally, that's about the width of your fists side by side between the feet. From downward facing dog, bend the knees, look forward to the top of the mat, step, walk, get the feet up between the hands, but take your time getting there. It's your first time going forward into a forward fold. On the inhale, come up halfway, slide the hands up the sides of the legs, and exhale, fold back down, Uttanasana. Let the head of the neck go. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. One last one, same thing. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. This time, circle the arms all the way up to standing. Hands come together overhead, down in front of the heart. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold, fingertips to the mat. Step the left foot back behind you, coming into a runner's lunge. Chest is reaching forward. You're welcome to use blocks underneath the hands. It'll give you more height in the chest and also make the hands touch down a little bit easier. Left hand underneath the left shoulder. Reach the right arm up to the sky, finding a twist. Try to keep the twist happening from the upper body, core area, upper abdomen. So your hips are neutral. That left hip isn't trying to go with you into the twist. Right hand comes back down to the mat. Swing the right leg up and back, three-legged down dog. Left foot down, right foot up. You can turn the right toes out to the right, bend the knee, but try to keep downward facing dog in the upper body. So your shoulders are even, left hip is pulling back, left heel is going down toward the mat. Step that right foot all the way up between the hands. Runner's lunge, chest reaches forward. Left foot steps up to meet the right foot. Inhale up halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold, fingertips to the mat. Right foot steps back, runner's lunge. Stack this left knee over the left ankle, reach the chest forward, get a little bit of height in the chest. So coming up onto the fingertips will help, or hands on blocks. Right hand underneath the right shoulder, left arm reaches up. Find that twist without using the hips, just the upper body. Left hand comes back down to the mat. Left leg swings up and back, three-legged down dog. Once you get there, you can open up the hip, bend the knees, see if you can lift that left knee up a little higher, level off the chest. So shoulders are even, right hip's pulling back, right heel still descending down toward the mat. Left foot steps all the way up between the hands, back into that runner's lunge. Can lift the chest, come up onto the fingertips. Then right foot steps up to meet the left foot. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Come all the way back up to standing. Circle the arms up on your inhale. Bring the hands together overhead, down in front of the heart. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold, bend the knees, hands to the mat, step back to plank pose. Lower all the way down to the mat slowly with control. Tops of the feet come to the mat, hands back by the lower ribs. Cobra, Bhujangasana. Exhale, release. Downward facing dog. You could either take plank or hands and knees to get to downward facing dog. Deep bend in the knees, look forward to the top of the mat, step, walk, bring the feet up between the hands. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Arms circle all the way up to standing. Hands come together overhead, down in front of the heart. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold, hands to the mat, step back to plank pose, lower down halfway chaturanga, cobra or up dog. Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Exhale back, downward facing dog. Knees bend, look forward, step, walk, feet lightly come up between the hands. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Arms circle up on the inhale. Hands come together overhead, down in front of the heart. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold, bend the knees, hands to the mat, step back to plank pose, lower down halfway chaturanga. Inhale up for your back bend. Exhale back to down dog. One more cycle of Surya Namaskar A. Bend the knees, look forward, step, walk, hop, feet up between the hands. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Circle the arms all the way up to standing. Hands come together, down in front of the heart. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold, bend the knees, hands come down, step back to plank pose, lower down halfway chaturanga. Inhale up for your back bend. Exhale back, downward facing dog. 3 breaths here. A little different this time. Bend the knees, look forward, bring the feet up to the hands. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Arms circle all the way up to standing. Hands come together, down in front of the heart. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. On the exhale, bring the fingertips back down to the mat. Step the left foot back behind you. Come back into that runner's lunge. Reach the chest forward. You can lower the hips a little bit. Keep the right knee over the right ankle. From here, drive down through both legs. Reach the arms back behind you. Hover the chest low over the front thigh. Rise all the way up, crescent pose. Maybe a bend in the back knee. Work toward a straighter back leg. Reach the arms forward, hovering low over the front thigh. Left hand comes down to the mat. Right arm reaches up for that twist. Right hand comes down to the mat. Right leg goes up and back, 3-legged down dog. Can open up the hip, bend the knee, try to stay even in the shoulders. That right shoulder wants to lift, so does the right side chest. Keep pulling the left hip back. That's the hip opening. It also protects the lower back. Step the right foot all the way up between the hands. Runner's lunge. And then this time, you're looking down at the right foot. We're coming into a curtsy squat. So that left foot is going to step forward and out to the right. You look forward. Standing splits. Hands underneath the shoulders. Left leg doesn't need to go up that high. Left foot next to the right foot. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold, fingertips down to the mat. Right foot steps back, runner's lunge. Chest is reaching forward. Both legs working, so it's not just the left leg. Make sure the hips are level. Then start to reach the arms back behind you, squeezing the palms of the hands together. Take it up, crescent pose. Maybe a bend in the back knee. See what that does for your lower back. And then you can play with how straight you want the back leg to be. Arms reach forward, so you're hovering that chest low over the front thigh without touching. Right hand underneath the right shoulder, left arm reaches up. Left hand comes back down to the mat. Left leg goes up and back. Three-legged down dog. Open up the hip, bend the knee. Try to square off the shoulders as best you can. Pull that right hip back. It's still downward facing dog. We're just changing the left leg. Left foot steps up between the hands, coming into that runner's lunge again. Chest is reaching forward. Right leg still reaching back behind you. Then look down at the mat. Right foot goes out to the left, curtsy squat. So you're bringing just the right toes, press out to the left a little bit. Put the weight into the left heel, left foot. Standing splits, hands out underneath the shoulders. Reach the right leg up. Doesn't need to be very high. Head's low. Step the feet together, top of the mat. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold, bend the knees, hands to the mat, step back to plank pose. Vinyasa if you want one on the way back to downward facing dog, but those are always optional, so you can choose to skip them whenever you'd like. Bend the knees, look forward to the top of the mat, bring the feet up between the hands. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Take chair pose, Utkatasana, bend the knees, reach the arms up. All the way up to standing, hands come together, down in front of the heart. Inhale, sit back, Utkatasana chair pose. Forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Left foot steps back behind you, runner's lunge. Feet are hip width distance apart right out of the gate. Reach the arms back behind you, hover low over the front thigh, starting to build some heat in the legs. Reach the arms forward all the way up, crescent pose. Maybe a bend in the back knee if that's feeling good. Just find enough of a bend so you bring whatever space you need into the lower back. Arms reach forward, hover low over the front thigh. Left hand comes down underneath the left shoulder, right arm reaches up. If you want, you can play with side plank, but we're coming right back to this lunge. So stay here if you want to skip it. I'll give you a couple options. You can turn the toes over to the right, heel toe the right foot back halfway, press into the right foot, lift the hips up. This is my favorite modification for side plank. You get that strength in the left side of the body. Or stack the feet, right foot on top of left foot, you're inside plank. If you're doing that version, hover the foot just a little bit away from the mat. or the bottom foot, bring the knee in toward the chest, step that right foot forward. You're back in your twisted lunge. Right hand comes down to the mat. Everyone's in a lunge. Right leg goes up and back. Three-legged down dog. Open up the hip, bend the knee. Try not to twist the shoulders. Step the right foot all the way through, up between the hands, back to that runner's lunge. Curtsy squat. Left foot steps out to the right. Weights in the front foot. You can look forward. So it's like a one-legged chair pose with the right leg. Then standing splits. So maybe we spend a little bit more time here. Maybe that left leg goes up a little bit more. Try to stack that right hip right over the joints below it, the knee and the ankle. Sometimes it wants to go out to the right. Left foot next to the right foot. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold, fingertips to the mat. Right foot steps back behind you. Runner's lunge, feet hip width. Reach the arms back behind you. Hover the chest low over the front thigh. Take it to crescent pose. You can play with the bend in the back knee. Then reach the arms forward, hover the chest low. Right hand underneath the right shoulder, left arm reaches up. Stay here or play with some version of side plank. Turn the toes out to the left, heel toe the left foot back halfway. Press into the foot to lift the hips up as high as you can. Maybe this is good enough, or you can play with stacking the feet, lifting the hips up high. If that's happening, hover that left foot away from the right foot, bring the knee in toward the chest, step the left foot forward, you're back in your twisted lunge. Left hand comes back down to the mat, curtsy squat. So you shift the weight forward to the left foot, right toes, just bring them out to the side, reach the heart forward. Standing splits. Right leg lifts up. Head gets a little closer to that standing leg and trying to get that left hip so it's right over the left ankle. Right foot next to the left foot. Inhale up halfway. Bend the knees, hands to the mat. Step back to plank pose. Any way you want, back to downward facing dog. Few breaths and down dog. Bend the knees, look forward to the top of the mat, bring the feet up between the hands. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Chair pose. All the way up to standing. Bring the hands together, down in front of the heart. Inhale, sit back, chair pose. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Step the left foot back behind you. Find that runner's lunge. Reach the arms alongside the body, hovering the chest low. Then bring it up to crescent pose. Arms reach forward, still hovering the chest low. Left hand down to the mat, right arm reaches up. Stay here or some version of side plank. Can go halfway with the foot in front of you. Stack the feet. See what's feeling good today. Lift the hips up as high as you can if you're in side plank. Then hover the right foot. Bring the knee in toward the chest. Step the right foot forward back to your twisted lunge. Right hand comes down to the mat. Right leg reaches up and back. Open up the hip, bend the knee. Right foot steps up between the hands again, back to your runner's lunge, squaring off the hips. Left foot, curtsy squat. So step it behind the right foot out to the side. And then standing splits. So left leg reaches up. So we'll play with the hands a little bit. If your balance seems like it's better today, you could bring the left hand to the back of the right leg. Right hand comes off to the side. And as you fold, maybe that right elbow bends. So it helps you get a little closer, the head to the leg. Hands back down, left foot next to the right foot. Inhale up halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold, right foot steps back, runner's lunge. Arms reach back behind you, chest is reaching forward at the same time. All the way up, crescent pose. Arms reach forward, hover the chest low. Bring the right hand down underneath the right shoulder, lift the left arm up, find your twist. Optional side plank, turn the toes out, heel to the left foot back halfway, stay there or stack the feet. Maybe you hover the left foot, bring the left knee in toward the chest and then step that left foot forward, come back to your twisted lunge. Left hand comes down to the mat, left leg up and back, three-legged down dog, open up the hip, bend the knee, not the shoulders. Right hip pulling back. Left foot steps up between the hands, runner's lunge. Get that set up, hips are neutral. Then step that right foot forward and out to the side, curtsy squat. Hands down, right leg up, standing splits. This time, right hand, maybe. Right hand comes to the back of the left leg, left hand out to the side of the foot. You can bend the elbow, flare out the elbow. Bring the head in. Try to keep that left hip over the left ankle. Hands down, right foot next to the left foot. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold, bend the knees, hands to the mat, any way you want, back to downward facing dog. Finding your center in downward facing dog, reaching through the arms and the legs, lengthening the spine, releasing the neck. So you're just letting the head hang between the arms. Bend the knees, look forward to the top of the mat, bring the feet up between the hands. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees, sit back, chair pose. Come all the way up to standing. Hands come together, down in front of the heart. Good. So come into Tadasana, arms down by the sides, feet are hip width distance apart. Find a focal point straight in front of you. Chest is lifted, legs are firm, core hugging in. With that focal point straight in front of you, something eye level, shift the weight over to the right foot, hover the left foot away from the mat. So when you're hugging that left foot away from the mat, you're hugging the femur up into the hip socket and it fires at the leg. Keep that. Kick the left leg back with both legs straight so it won't go back that far. And then you'll take this to warrior three. So start to bend the right knee a little bit. Keep pushing that left leg back away from you. Level off the chest, the hips. Bend the standing leg. Reach back with that left foot. And the arms are still reaching back. Chest is hovering low over the front thigh. Rise up, crescent pose. Arms reach forward, hover over the front thigh. Left hand comes down underneath the left shoulder. Right arm reaches up for that twist. Stay here or side plank. Right knee comes in toward the chest. Step the right foot forward, back in that twisted lunge. Right hand comes back down to the mat, right leg up and back, three-legged down dog, open up the hip without taking the shoulders. Left hip crease pulls back. Right foot steps up between the hands, runner's lunge. Left foot out to the right, curtsy squat. Weights in the right leg. Standing splits. Left leg reaches up, fold over the right leg. Maybe left hand, back of the right leg, right hand out to the side, maybe the elbow bends. Then hands down, left foot meets the right foot. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Chair pose, Utkatasana. All the way up to standing, hands come together, down in front of the heart. Good work. Tadasana, mountain pose. Arms down by the sides, fire up the legs, fire up the core. Whole body's working. And it's like you're trying to spread the mat with the feet. So get the feet engaged. Find your focal point, eye level, shift the weight over to the left foot, hover the right foot away from the mat, keep the legs straight, then kick the right leg back. It won't go very far. Core turns on. Warrior 3. Take your time. Arms still reaching back, chest still reaching forward, right toes pointing down toward the mat. Bend the standing leg, reach back with the ball of the right foot, hover low over the front thigh. Runner's lunge, chest is lifted. Take it up to crescent pose. Arms reach forward, hover low over the left thigh, right hand underneath the right shoulder, left arm reaches up. Stay here, option for side plank. Make sure that right shoulder's out of the right ear. Maybe hover the left foot, left knee in toward the chest. Step the left foot forward, find that twist and lunge again. Left hand comes down to the mat, curtsy squat, right foot comes in, out to the side. Hardly any weight in that right foot. Standing splits, right leg up and back. Right hand can come to the back of the left leg, left hand out to the side. Maybe you flare out the elbow, fold in. Just keep pointing that left sit bone straight back. Hands down, feet together, top of the mat. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold, hands down, step back, plank pose, vinyasa, or straight back to downward facing dog. Deep breaths in downward facing dog, in and out through the nose. You could exhale out through the mouth if that feels like it would be a nice way to reset. Bend the knees, look to the top of the mat, bring the feet up between the hands. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees, sit back, chair pose, Utkatasana. All the way up to standing, hands come together, down in front of the heart. All right, we'll see what we can change up this time. So arms down by the sides, find Tadasana mountain pose. Shift the weight over to the right foot, hover the left foot away from the mat. Kick that left leg back. Go slow, take your time, warrior 3. Bend the standing leg, reach back with that left foot, arms reaching back behind you. Rise up, crescent pose. Reach the arms forward, hover low over the front thigh. Left hand down to the mat, right arm reaches up. Side plank. Hover the right foot, right knee in toward the chest, step the right foot forward, and you're in your twisted lunge. This time, bring the right hand down to the mat, hop the back foot in till you can seal the heel down. Both legs are straight, pyramid pose. So come up halfway on the inhale, pull that right hip back, left hip forward so you feel like the hips are side by side, and then fold down over the right leg. You can let the head and the neck go. And those left toes are at an angle, so they're not pointing straight forward, but definitely more forward than to the side. More like 11 o'clock. Then inhale forward to your lunge, bend the front knee, come onto the ball of the back foot, right leg reaches up and back, open up the hip, bend the knee. Right foot steps up between the hands. Curtsy squat, left foot out to the side, reach the heart forward. Find standing split. So lots of leg opening today. Maybe this standing split is feeling really different than the first one. You want to feel that length open in the back side of the right leg. Maybe you can bring the right hip a little closer to being over the ankle. This time, left ankle behind the right ankle. So legs are straight, pinky toe sides of the feet are together. Come forward, come up halfway. So fingertips underneath the shoulders, and then fold over the legs. Let the head and the neck go. Ankles are crossed, right foot in front of the left foot. Come up halfway, feet are side by side, back to normal. On the inhale, come up halfway. On the exhale, forward fold. Bend the knees, sit back, chair pose. All the way up to standing, hands come together, down in front of the heart. Good work. Tadasana, mountain pose. So you find your center here. And this is always a good reminder. We're trying to find this kind of intensity, this long line in every pose we do. So see if you can do that on this side. Shift the weight over to the left foot, hover the right foot away from the mat. Virabhadrasana 3. Take your time coming into it. Arms reach back. Bend the standing leg, reach back with the right foot, arms still reaching back. Rise up, crescent pose. Arms reach forward, hover low over the front thigh. Bring the right hand down, left arm up, find the twist. Left hand comes down to the mat, hop the back foot in till you can seal the heel. Square the hips off, so keep the chest lifted till you can do that. Fire up the legs, make sure they're straight, and then fold over the left leg, Parsvottanasana, pyramid pose. Right toes pointing more toward 1 o'clock, and you're pressing into all four corners of the feet. Inhale forward to your lunge. You're on the ball of the back foot, hands down. Left leg up and back, three-legged down dog. Square off the shoulders. Left foot steps up between the hands. Find your runner's lunge. This time, right foot comes right behind the left foot. So you're crossing at the ankles. Pinky toe sides of the foot together, and then fold down over the leg. So it's just a cross-legged forward fold. Come up halfway, bring the right foot next to the left foot. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold, hands down to the mat, step back any way you want, back to downward facing dog. Couple breaths in downward facing dog. Then glide forward to plank pose. Come all the way down onto your stomach. Tops of the feet to the mat. Stack the hands. Rest the forehead on top of the hands. Just rest here. We'll come into some back bends, but we'll keep you on your head, on your stomach for now. All right, lift the head up just about shoulder height, so you're still keeping it low. Reach the arms back behind you. Stretch the legs back behind you. So you press into the tops of the feet and the knees probably lift away from the mat. As you squeeze the hands together, lift and spread the chest. So legs are really long. We spent a lot of time opening them up. Maybe they hover away from the mat as low as possible. They don't need to go up high. And gently release, relax, rest the head. You can stack the hands the other way, or if you're more comfortable, you could bring the arms down by the sides and rest the side of the head on the mat. Either way works. Again, Shalambhasana, tops of the feet down, lift the head, reach the arms back behind you, lift and spread the chest, keep squeezing the hands together, tail pointing back toward the heels. Maybe you hover the feet. If it bothers your lower back, then skip the feet. And release, rest. Switch the stacking of the hands or turning of the head. Last one, lift the head back up, press down into the tops of the feet, reach the arms back behind you. If you want to and you feel like it's not going to take away space from the lower back, you could interlace the fingers. That's deeper, so skip it if it seems like it's too much. Lift and spread the chest, option for the feet. Feet come down, rest the head. You could lift the feet up and move the feet side to side like windshield wipers. Just listen to the lower back. Some lower backs don't like this. If that's you, then just bring the feet back down. Feet come back down to the mat if they're lifted. Find child's pose again. So bring the hands to the mat, come up to hands and knees, big toes together, sit the hips back. Start to walk the hands in toward the body. Bring the feet over to one side. You'll come to seated. So legs are out in front of you. And as you come to seated, let's bring the sole of the right foot to the mat. So you're bringing that knee up. Wrap this left arm around the bent leg. Right arm comes back behind you. Left toes point up. Sit up. So press down into the sit bones to rise up through the crown of the head. Then open the chest to the right. Gaze can go over the right shoulder. But that left leg is strong. It's like you're pushing something away from you with the left foot. Slowly unwind. Keep the legs. Just bring the chest forward. Sole the right foot inside the left leg. So right knee's going out to the side. Reach the arms up. Center the chest with the left toes. So it's almost like a twist. And then fold over the left leg. Once you get there, rest the hands on something. If you can easily reach the foot with a little bit of a bend in the elbows, then you can do that. Hands to the mat, leg, whatever's there. But keep reaching the heart forward so you keep the rounding out of the upper back, and then start to bring the head and the neck down once you can keep the back straight. Inner right thighs releasing so that right knee comes down a little lower to the ground. And slowly release. Walk the hands back in, coming back up to seated. Use the right hand to bring the right knee back to center. Extend the right leg forward. Grab onto the back of the left thigh. Start to bring that left foot in toward the hips. Make sure you can still sit evenly on the hips. Left fingertips back behind you as you sit up tall. Wrap the right arm around the bent leg. Keep those right toes up. Press down to both sit bones. Open the chest to the left. Gaze is over the left shoulder. And that outer left leg is pressing into the forearm, right forearm back into the leg. That also helps you get length in the spine, that action. Start to bring the gaze back forward. Unwind the chest. Use the hands. Bring the sole of the left foot inside the right thigh. Reach the arms all the way up. Chest goes to the right a little bit, so it's centered with the right toes. Then fold forward over the right leg. Janu Shirshasana, head to knee pose. Keep extending the heart forward as you fall forward over the leg, and then you can let the head and the neck go. Left inner thigh is starting to release, getting the left growing, starting to release, so that left knee can come a little bit closer to the mat. Start to come back up to seated. This time, grab onto the back of the right thigh, bring the soles of the feet together. So coming into Baddha Konasana, bound angle pose, you can grab onto the ankles or inner edges of the feet. Bring the feet in close to the body. If they can go in a little bit more, go for it. And then grab onto whatever you can reach. Sit up as tall as you can. Hug those femurs, those thigh bones into the hip socket. Maybe the knees will go down a little bit closer. And then start to hinge forward. Elbows can flare out, fold forward over the legs, making it a little bit deeper of a hip opening. Now you're putting some weight as you fold forward on the hips. And you'll notice a difference if you have rounding in the upper back. If you extend the heart forward, you'll feel it in the hips and inner thighs. So it's not about how low the head gets. It's about how long you can keep the spine reaching forward as you fold over the hips. All right, let's take it back up to seated. Use the hands to bring the knees back together. Legs extend out in front of you. Reach the arms up overhead. Take an inhale. On the exhale, fold over the legs. Paschimottanasana, seated forward fold. Same thing we've been doing. So you're opening up the back sides of the legs. Reach the heart forward. And then let the head and the neck go. Heart still reaching forward, even though the head's coming down toward the legs. And start to rise back up to seated. Bring the soles of the feet to the mat, bending the knees. You probably need to scoot forward so that when you come down onto your back, the head's still down on the mat. Bring the knees in toward the chest. Open up the knees wide. Take happy baby, some version of it. You don't have to grab the feet if they feel far away, but you do want to keep the knees wider than the torso if possible and the hips down on the mat. You can rock side to side. Today may be a good day to extend one leg straight. See how that feels. Bend it, do the other leg. See how that feels. If it's too much, don't do it, or don't go all the way into it. Back to happy baby with both legs bent, maybe both legs straight. See what happens. If it's too much, come back to the bent knees. And bend the knees, happy baby if the legs are straight. Hug the knees in toward the chest. Take a big inhale. Exhale, Shavasana. Extend the legs out in front of you, arms down by the sides, close the eyes, taking in any sensations from the body. So your body's still buzzing from the practice. It's nice to be in stillness and feel what's shifting and changing. Also helps you stay in the moment. So the more you can start to identify what's happening in the body with the eyes closed and taking that observer mindset, it's a meditation. We'll start to wiggle the fingers and the toes. Stretch the arms overhead, reaching out through the legs. Bring the left foot to the mat, bending the left knee. Roll over to your right side. You can bend the knees. See if you can lie the head on the biceps. That's a nice stretch for the shoulder. Left hand can come down in front of you. If it's not working, don't worry about it. You can cradle the head in the arm. Press into the left hand. Bring yourself up to seated. Head is the last part of the body to come up. Bring the hands together in front of you. Slight bow of the head. Keep that lift of the chest. Honor and acknowledge your heart and spirit, as well as everyone around you. Bring the head up. Blink open the eyes. Namaste. Thank you for joining. Hope your legs feel good. I'll see you next time.